All right, we are live. Yay. Okay, thank you all for attending. And again, I'm going to be doing some teaching, and that teaching is going to be involved in the process of us kind of coming out of sleep. Yeah, there's a process where the heart is asleep and the solar plex is awake. And the solar plex is full of delusion, illusions, gossip, things that go on, bump in the night, scary shit, projected stuff. It's our dream, and we live in a dream. We don't live in reality. Yeah. So, in this process, we can easily be deluded in that dream because we're thinking it's a dream. Yeah, and we're living the dream. We're in America. Yeah, the American dream. Yeah, we have everything that says it. We're all Americans. We're the most powerful nation. We have, supposedly we are the best in everything. Yeah, supposedly. But the truth is that we're capitalist pigs. And we're overwhelming in the relationship of ripping every single living human being off in the United States and taking advantage of them, with the most uncaring quality of human nature, that you would project into, Ethiopia or, Vietnam or, someplace you might think that, things have got to be bad. They've got to be worse than here, But it's not true. It's not true at all. There's really no place worse than here. And it's just the factor of the truth. If you're from the UK, you have it actually much better. If you're from the Netherlands, you have it 1,000 times better. If you're from Denmark, you're 20, 30 times better. If you're from France, you're overwhelmingly better. Yeah. If you're from Spain, you're better. If you're from Ethiopia, you are better. Yeah. So, those are the truths, rather than living in a dream, because we live in a dream. Yeah. And we, in that dream, we're under the delusion that there's a wage that you make that fulfills the common person's need to have a home and pay rent or pay a house mortgage or have a car to drive to work and have, the ability to have one or two children and be able to, take the time to give birth to those children and then take care of that baby for about 5 or 6 months, those are just really, it's common in the world. It's common in the world. Yeah. But in America, we don't know of any such thing. We know nothing of it. We've never heard of, a free maternity leave. Completely free for weeks, months. Yeah. And it could be extended. You get 100% pay for the first 15 weeks and another 15 weeks at 80% if you need it. Yeah. And, the possibility of even that going to the husband, where the wife can go on to her work and be able to maintain a better economy, and the husband can stay home and take care of the child. So the benefits go either way. Yeah. But in America, we do not have any benefits. We have zero benefits. There's no employer that's willing to do it, and the only reason that is because we have a government that's made laws that are against it. Yeah, and the people do that. Ignorantly walk around, I'm Democrat or I'm Republican. And you don't read anything, you just check whatever Democrats say you're supposed to do or Republicans say you're supposed to do. And you're being led like sheep in a dream, that's fulfilling, an enormous amount of capitalism. It's not democracy. It's under the shade of a dream called democracy, but it's capitalism. And for us to come out of this, we're going to, have to really totally wake up. Yeah, and the only way you can wake up is by passing laws in every single state, because your federal government is not going to do a dang thing for you. They're the worst. And you think, wow, that's got to be nuts. That can't be true. Our government is America. It's got to be the best government in the world. We have more human rights than other people. Our passport is super. Our dollar is higher than any other. All these delusions. You can make a list of maybe 20 things that may be correct, but all the rest is not true. So we live in a very distinct, diluted state that causes all of us to collapse. And we can destroy the earth in this place, and thinking that we're living a dream. A dream, we're going to Mars. A dream, we're ahead of the whole thing. A delusionary dream. And it's not true. It's not a true dream. Because they're going to do the same thing to you on Mars that they do to you here. If you're a person who works in the food industry, this is a service industry. Everybody wants to go out to eat. Everybody wants to go to fast food. Everybody wants to buy food produced in factories and then get it out of the grocery aisle, and out of the frozen section or the cold section, but it's been produced. And some worker did that, in a very hard, bad environment, and they're paid less than anybody in our society. Anybody in our society, if you can get away with it. They're paid less than anybody. And then you get to the food service point, to where people are cooking food and serving food and doing the things. Even in your mind, you go, oh, McDonald's, well, that's like, that's the lowest level. It's an idiot person who works there. It's a person who can't get a job anywhere. It's a semi-retired old man, and kids that have parents that are working 3 or 4 jobs, and they can hardly go to school, but they're forced to work in this environment. So we're going to pay them $7 an hour, $7.75 an hour. And that's at McDonald's. $27 billion they made last year. And and they're going, well, we would be out of business if we raised our wages to $18 an hour. Imagine $18 an hour. But $18 an hour is what it requires for a couple with one child, to have an apartment, have a car, not a rich car, not crazy ass thing, just a car, maybe 2 cars if they're really frugal, insurance that covers them both, the ability to go to the grocery store a couple times a week and not be counting their coins and have to take things back to the aisle. Been there, done that. Most of us have, because we just don't have the money in our pocket to pay for what food we need. So we take it back. That's freaking humiliating, but that's inside the dream. You keep moving forward, thinking that this is all going to work out, but it's not. We're in a horrifying scenario, and even our tip system, here we are, we're dealing now with people who are working in the restaurant industry, and they're serving us, they're coming up to us, yes sir, what can I do, what would you like, and they're smiling away, because if they don't, you're going to treat them worse and pay them less, and they may get fired because you could be a complainer. And the business doesn't care about the employee. It cares about their reputation and making sure that they're going to make an income. So they'll fire you on the spot. That's a very nervous job. Very nervous job. And it's hard to keep your orders straight, and it's hard to make sure every single person wants it different. Their own way. Doesn't matter what it says on the menu. They want something a little special. And if you don't get it, you're the worst person on planet Earth. Everything they hate about anybody is now shot onto you. And what are you going to get? What are you going to get? You're probably getting $2.75 an hour from your employer. You may get, at a rich restaurant, you may get 5, 6, 7, up to $7.50 an hour. Yeah, working in a restaurant. Yeah, and in some states, because of the state, you need to pay $9 an hour. You need to pay $8 an hour or $7.25. But federally, you're only required to pay $2.13 an hour for a person who's serving tables. So trust me, even though you're in a state that says you could be paid $9 an hour, you're not going to be paid that. They're going to juggle your mind and make you think that, well, you're lucky to work here. And if you're really good, we're going to give you a time that you're going to work, you're going to get bigger tips, you know, during certain periods of time. You know? But if you're not, you don't treat us right, we'll put you on that schedule that no one really makes much money, and you're going to continue doing that until you finally get into the place that we're going to give you as a positive way of behaving. Yeah, we'll give you that position to where you'll make more in your tips. You know, and it's all just a carrot. It's a piece of shit. It's horrifying. It's horrifying to be under those conditions. And that's service. That's restaurant. You know, that's when, you know, imagine you're going out to eat. You know, why? Why are you going out to eat? You know, because no one's really getting paid right. You go to McDonald's, you want fast food. How much are they getting paid? $7.25 an hour. Yeah, and if they work really hard, they might get $9 an hour. $9 an hour. And guess how much they get paid in Denmark or France or the Netherlands? $22 an hour to work at McDonald's. Same company, same burgers, same income. What's the difference? The country. The country requires human conditions in pay. That what you get paid works within the human conditions. In other words, you have a place you have to pay for your rent. You have to pay for your car. You have to pay for these things that are your expenses. Those are your human conditions. And the standard of what your expenses are is the amount of wage that you should get. Yeah? And you not only get wages, you know, you get a month off, paid a month off. Yeah? In some cases, 250 days. Yeah? And then the amount of hours that you're working. Imagine people think, because you're in a dream, you know, you think, whoa, those Japanese people, they work themselves to death. You know, they're just so smart. They go to school 24 hours a day. They go to work. They never come out. You know, work. That's a Japanese person. But it's not true. They work 240 less hours than we do. 240 less hours. People, think about that. That's an enormous amount of time. Yeah? And then they also get vacation time, and they get leave time. Oh, I don't feel like working today. I'm going to take off a week. Okay. Fine. And you get paid. Yeah? And we don't get any of that. None of it. Yeah? We get that low wage. Yeah? We get that process of demeaning process. Yeah? Because we're in a capitalistic society where heart does not work, and our president is the devil. Yeah? And the impressions that work within it is demonic itself. Yeah? And it commits people to live a life to where a largest number of people committing suicide is in America. The largest number of people getting guns and shooting people just by whim, just by getting pissed off at them on the freeway. You know, getting angry at someone because they asked you to wear a mask. Come back to the store and shoot 5 or 6 people. Yeah? This is all a dream, a horrifying nightmare dream. And it's pressuring us. And people who are incarnated, all people who are incarnated and live in the United States, are under the pressure of a deluded dream that will never come forth, ever. You can get the lottery all you want, but that's one of the biggest curses you're ever going to come across. Because you're not prepared for it. You have no idea what to do with money. And it's just going to ruin you within 5 or 6 or 7 years. So it's not money, it's not this or not, it's heart. It's heart. It's compassion, it's empathy, it's the right thing to do. And it's not that they all say, oh, now you're talking like you're a socialist. Got to make sure that all of everything is taken care of. People's housing is taken care of. Yeah, I'm saying that we should give money to people. A good amount of money to people. Not worry about whether or not they're working. At all. But every single week, give money to people. Because money is being made by the bazillions in this country. And we're not sharing it. And we're allowing poverty to be overtaken. And we're allowing the wage gap between the expenses of life and the amount of money we're making in wages. And it forces people to do things they're not here on this earth to do. They lose their soul. They lose their vitality. They get a gun. They shoot themselves, or they hang themselves, or they take drugs, or they drink all day long. That's America. And it is really the biggest drain of energy on planet Earth. We create more pollution. We go against doing something about doing that. We vote in presidents like Trump, who takes us completely out of the world global climate process. And he was president for 4 years and no one did a thing about it. And we could lose the earth. And a chance of us letting him become president again and do the same thing, keep us out of the climate process, put it into nuclear war process, which is where he was at. He was pushing more buttons, making people angry at him. Everybody, the crazy-ass North Koreans, the crazy-ass Chinese, the crazy-ass Iranians, anybody who's crazy. The Russians, he put his arm around him and says, I don't see where this guy could be lying. Can you imagine that guy? That's a dream. When we're in a dream like this, we allow someone to come in who fosters the dream. And he tells you everything is a conspiracy, all the media is a lie, and that everything he's saying, which is always a lie, which is always a conspiracy, it's always a cover-up, it's always bolstering delusionary, grandiose thoughts and statements. Largest number of people ever in a rally. Largest number of people ever voted on planet Earth. How could I have lost? Everything to him is an exaggerated state of delusions of grandeur in every state of consciousness. And he could possibly get away with, ripping off the United States from the moment he was born to today. Get away with it because we live in a dream. And we got to pop this dream. We could do this. We can do this. We have to take out the psychic influence of lunar lords, big companies, big corporations. There's a process right now where through the coronavirus we had massive number of people lose their homes. Massive number of people couldn't pay their mortgage, businesses went under, houses we couldn't live in anymore. So we left. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people. So what happened? Did that free up a lot of homes for people to go and buy? Not at all. Not any. What happened? Well, the guy who owns Coca-Cola decided he'd go into the real estate rental business. And he bought up tens of hundreds of thousands of homes overnight. And 20 or 30 other major corporations started doing the same thing in every major city in everywhere in the United States, eliminating the ability to buy a home. Yeah, literally, whole communities have been bought up, and they are now rental communities. Yeah, yeah. What used to be a private community, whole communities bought up, made into rental communities. Yeah, that means you're going to have a freaking demon landlord over your head for the rest of your life, and the dream is gone. Yeah, this is subserviency. Yeah, they won't fix your plumbing. They won't fix your driveway. You know, they won't upgrade to higher levels of solar, and they won't allow you to do it unless you're willing to do it for free and leave it behind when you leave, just so you can pay less rent. Yeah, you have no freedom whatsoever if you don't own that house. And that door's closing, people. Closing. Yeah. An enormous amount of the process of, imagine, every country, every major country has a relationship of, what it does, toward humanity. Here I've got, check this out. This is paid vacation and holidays, yeah, throughout the world. Throughout the world. Yeah, and these blue lines are countries: France, United Kingdom, Australia, Norway, Denmark, Finland. These are countries you should fricking move to. Yeah? Because this place sucks. Sucks. 1,000,000% sucks. Yeah? It's all, you're going to be lied to, you're going to be stolen from, you're going to get phone calls, people saying your IRS is after you. This place sucks. Yeah? Look at this. All these people, this is 30 days in France. You get 30 days. Yeah? Paid vacation. Paid vacation. Can you imagine that? 30 days. Yeah? You just head out. You're going to all over the world. You're flying because you're being paid on these days. It's not costing you anything. It's regular days. You're being paid. And you're being paid well. Because you're not in America. Yeah? And you have benefits, and you have insurance, and you have all these things. You have your school, you have your medicine, all that, including paid vacation and maternity leave. Every single one of these countries have maternity leaves. Yeah? Then there's those that have paid holidays. Well, look at this. There's over 80% of these countries have paid holidays. We don't even know what a paid holiday is. 4th of July is not a paid holiday. Christmas is not a paid holiday, and Jesus Christ was born on that day. Yeah? I mean, rarely would we ever get a paid holiday. It's like, holy shit, I'm going to build a pool on that. The benefits. Thank you, sir. What great benefits. Look at us down here. 0, people. 0. Right there. 0. And all the rest are 10 vacation days. That's Japan. They work hard, yeah. But they get paid well. Canada, they get 10 days. But they also get 9 days of paid holiday. Yeah. Switzerland, 20 days. And all of those, 20 days, 22 days, 25 days, 28 days, and 30 days. And what do we get? We get 3? We get a weekend off? Do we get a weekend off? No, we don't get a weekend off. What if we're sick? Nope. You don't get paid when you're sick. What? No, we don't cover your insurance either because you don't work full time. And that's another one. In America, we don't work full time. Yeah? You're lucky if you work full time. You're lucky. And they make you think you're lucky. No, we don't have any openings for full time, but we can probably get you enough hours to get you to 38 hours. We can probably do that if we jerk things around, make things right for you. If you treat us right, we'll do that for you. Come in early, clock out late, clock, stay, work, Yeah, keep it under 38. Yeah, you can keep your job. Yeah, just fine. But that means you get no health benefits, you get no overtime. Yeah. And I mean, every benefit that you should get, including holidays and paid vacation and all these things that you should be getting. Yeah, you don't. Zero. You don't get any of it. Yeah. And they poo-poo you to have a union. Oh, that's almost near communism. You know? And unions don't do you any better. You still don't get paid vacations. Yeah? You still don't get time off. You still don't get maternity leave. Because the federal government doesn't see a need for it. It's in the law, people. It's in the law. The law is based on the business and not on the employee. It fosters the business. It is capitalism. Yeah, we are 100% capitalism. We signed a deal with the devil. Yeah, and you need to get yourself straight so that you can completely release from these contracts that go with the dream of the delusion that this is going to change or, you know, something like that. Because it's not. It's going to get worse. Yeah? Only way it'll change is when the consciousness goes click. And people realize that this is a fulfilled, complete lie. Yeah? And the only way that'll change is if they begin a process of focusing on what they're voting for. Because it's in the voting system. It's all based on the voting system. And right now, we have all these corrupt people out there trying to mess with the voting system so that we have far less ability to use that voting system. And the voting system is really based on the U.S. mail. Yeah? The U.S. mail is not FedEx or UPS or something like that. It's actually established by the United States as a caring service within the United States that is done for pennies. Yeah? And it's done so efficiently and so well, yeah, that all the way from the Civil War to today, we did our voting through mail. Yeah? And it was done through this mail service. Yeah? And we applied our ability to vote. You know? We had the ability to, being in a small town, being out on a farm, being in these places, to where we are in the United States, in those scenes, we don't have the ability to do the type of vote that you would think you could do. The education to vote for the right person, to know what is going on. You know, it's through the mail system that you get information. Yeah, and you could read it and you could understand it, and then you could start filling it out and sign it and say, this is what you're going to do. And you can question whether or not this bill should be passed, or whether or not this person should be the mayor, or whether or not this person should be the sheriff. You know, whether or not we should be paying taxes, you know, for a new school. You know, whether or not we should change the wages, you know, for the things that are going on in the world. You know, all that is covered up by us having small systems. You know, federal system doesn't give a shit. It'll keep your wages at $2.75 an hour and make it the person who's employing you to be the person who decides how much you're going to be paid. Yeah? So you can go from like $7 an hour to $9 an hour in Washington, D.C. and $7 an hour in California. You know? And you know, just because the federal government says that's what's legally you're able to do. Yeah? But it's not that. You shouldn't be going by that. Yeah? You shouldn't. Yeah? All the people who are employing people, all the people who are out there being employed, you have to know the truth. You have to know how big you're being ripped off. Yeah? Don't think that this is a good country. Don't think that anybody's taking care of you. Don't think that this is a process that it's worked out and it's going to go forward in a way in which people are going to be taken care of. It's not. It's not. Not in any way, shape, or form. Yeah? other than through consciousness. Yeah? And my teaching, my focus for my teaching all throughout time is the waking of the understanding that we're asleep. Yeah? And that we're psychically being moved through a process of delusions, and depends on the country that you're at, how much delusion is fostered in that particular country. And ours is big. Ours is really big. The United States is well beyond crazy, insane crazy. Yeah. And we have these processes where we think that people are look at this. All these people, all of us, all throughout the world, we work, we're employed. And only in the United States, we get no benefits, none, no vacation, no maternity leave. That's beyond everybody needs to get clarity behind that. Yeah? Because this is all of our future. Every child that's growing up today, they have to know this is going to change. They have to know we're not going to do this. It's going to change. We're sorry that it's like this. We're going to fight for it. We're going to go out into the street. We're going to make voting happen. We're going to boycott. That's the only way things change in the influence of democracy, is boycotting. Where we all, democratically, we all are raised up into a higher consciousness, and we gain strength out of our heart. And we're willing to quit businesses. Yeah? We're willing to quit going to stores. We're willing to quit doing things because people are underpaid in those places. We're willing to pay more for tips if we're going to go to a restaurant. At least start there. You go to a restaurant, these are the poorest people in the industry of economy. Yeah? And people, they're sitting there, oh, should I give 5%? Should I give 10%? I'm already paying $400. Well, holy shit. Yeah, you should be giving at least 20%. 20%. And then, in that terrible mind, a person just going, wow, they're going to have a really nice house. This is paying for their car. This is going to upgrade their lifestyle. Me paying them 20%. Am I supposed to be doing that? Why doesn't the employer do that? The restaurant owner do that? Rather than me paying it in tips. It is a bad system. The whole thing is made so that we are felt guilty about these people being underpaid beyond belief, and that there is no other means of income for them. So we are forced to give tips. And tips come from a history of people who have slaves. And you give tips to the slaves. You enslave a person and you give tips to them because they're not worthy of real wages. If they do good for you, you give them a little tip. Yeah? That's how it comes. That's where it came from in our history. And we're conditioned in that barbaric way of thinking that people are lower. They lack value. And it's all programming. It's all in the stupid dream. So the dream's got to pop. Yeah? Got to clearly pop. Not just a little bit, but an enormous amount. Yeah? You have to have in your mind the reality that all these countries that I showed you also have medicine for people. Insurance is taken care of. Yeah? Vacation is taken care of. Maternity is taken care of. These are big things. All the world does it but America. Nothing will change but you. The only person who will change is you. You don't believe what they say. Don't believe, well, we'll all go out of business. We'll lose our country. We'll lose our ability to do all the good things that we're doing in the world. McDonald's will go out of business. We won't be able to serve burgers anymore. We can't afford to do that. $22 an hour. Pay $22, $25 an hour to a person in service. you know, rather than them begging for a freaking tip. Every time they turn around, they have to see it if on the table there's money for them so that they can go home and put that. I know my mom was a waitress. She lived on quarters, people. Quarters. She got nickels and dimes and quarters. And we lived off that. A great big jar of quarters. That was our income. Because she didn't get paid for being there. At that time, you don't get paid as a waitress. You get maybe 50 cents an hour, 25 cents an hour at that time. You know, so things haven't changed. You know, it's the lowest level, and we treat it like that, like the person is the lowest person. You know? And if you go to a fancy restaurant, you know, you just up it. You're willing to pay the tip. You're willing to, you even pay the car hop, to take your car away, pick it up, everything, You're willing to go all the way and all these different things because you're living in a freaking dream. Yeah? These benefits that we get out of giving tips and all these things should be normal. Should be our dream, should be fulfilled in our dream. It's in the Netherlands, it's in Denmark. Yeah? It's all over the world, everywhere. Yeah? Yeah, and it's just not here. So what happens if it becomes here? Yeah? Imagine every person working, getting $22 an hour. Every person working getting $22 an hour. Yeah? And then everybody else who's working who has jobs that are supposed to be a little higher paid because you're a managerial, you've been there for 15 years, you hold a larger reign of responsibility and training. It works like that. The burden on a person is a value to the company. It's a value to the people who come to the company to be served. To come across someone like that is so knowledgeable and so qualified, is awesome. And they should be paid. Yeah? They shouldn't be receiving $1 million difference than the regular person who's working there, like CEOs. They get paid $50 million at the end of the year or something like that. It's a bonus. Because the money's got to go somewhere. They're making so much money. The money's got to go somewhere, so they get bonuses. But it doesn't go anywhere toward wages. Yeah? It's bottom line. Yeah? It's capitalism. Yeah? So the only thing that moves this into the influence of massive change, is through the awakening of humanity. And humanity is going through a process where, here we have Biden, and everybody's going, wow, he's a socialist, he's gonna bring on, trillions of dollars into infrastructure and make it possible for women to get money, to pay for when they have their births, and they're working to maybe give them time off, have literally a financial structure within our federal government that begins putting money into the people and supporting the people, not just giving them food stamps and not just making them feel like they're the lowlifes in the world and allowing them to live on the street, allowing them to go that far down the hole. Yeah? And if we're in this system, the one that I'm helping to direct, that system will go down to the bottom of the hole, fill that hole, fix that hole, raise everybody up beyond where there is no freaking hole. Because the amount of money that people are given on a weekly basis, when you make $15,000 a year, you should be given at least $20,000 a year to balance you out to that necessary $30,000 a year it takes for you to get groceries and have a car and live your life. For whatever reason it is that you can't work because your soul, your mind, your condition, your personal condition doesn't allow you to do that. The jobs that are out there doesn't fit your qualifications. It's just not right. But that doesn't mean that we should throw you aside because you're mentally ill or something, and you're not. There are souls in this world, and we have a purpose, and we have certain things we can do, certain things we can't do. And we have to see people like that And we have to help people know that they're going to be financially supported, no matter who you are. In America, just like in all other countries, you need to be financially supported. Like right now, the Biden is giving out trillions of dollars, and they're thinking millions of dollars in checks, $1,500 here, another $500 there, and everybody's going, wow, they're never going to get a job. You know, you're paying them to not work. Yeah, it's going to ruin the economy. You know, can you imagine how many children are being fed now that weren't being fed? Where do you think that money went? That money went to pay a lot of need. Yeah, because we're in a hole. They're all in a hole. Everybody's in a freaking hole. The cost of living does not fit the environment of our wages. It doesn't fit it. It's so far from reality. And then if you move toward eating right, you know, and having your conditions set forth where you're not, you know, set by society, you know, in this dream, thinking that McDonald's is okay, eating pizza is okay, drinking coffee anytime you want is okay, try to go to sleep on time, it'll work, you know, all these things out of control in a dream, totally living out of a desire body, as though you're in a lucid dream. And you're not. It's going to come down on you. Yeah, this is a dream that is a nightmare. The end, the suffering. We're sacrificing humanity. All of humanity. Not some, but all of humanity. Yeah? You know, so we have to, this is so important to wake up. The shock factor behind this is overwhelming. I understand that. Yeah? It's clear. Yeah? But you're at the position of getting no benefits for being alive, but the rest of the world is. You're in a curse. You've been committed to a curse. You're born in that curse. Now you're living through that curse. And you move from state to state and do the things you can to find a better place to live. And can you do that? Can you find a house, someplace to live? Look at this. If you go to Oakland, 94% of the people in Oakland say, I can't find a house that I can afford. Yeah? Only 7% say they can find a house they can afford. Yeah? In Cleveland, 49%. And who the heck wants to live in Cleveland? Yeah? But it's still hard to find a house. Why? Because the houses are more expensive than they should be. Yeah? And people that this wage disparity, the process between wage and how much we're making, you know, is changing everything. You know, all of San Jose is cleared of humanity. Look at that. Oakland, San Jose. Those are the people who made the billions and millions of dollars out of Elon Musk and all the technologies, and they bought all the houses, and, you know, the cost of living, you know, went up because their wages went up, and they were willing to go out and pay this enormous amount of money. Look at this. These houses, this is in San Francisco, an average house is $1.3 million. Average house. Come on. In Portland, hellhole, Portland. Yeah? Where everybody's rioting, they want to get rid of the police, you know, shooting everybody left and right. It's not a nice place to be, but still, it'll cost you $438,000 to buy a cheap one-bedroom house. Yeah? And it keeps going up. You know, Los Angeles, $560,000. You know, Oakland, $750,000. Irvine, California, that's really not a very high living place, you know. But it still cost $832,000. San Jose, $1.1 million. Can you imagine that? Fremont, you know, $1.7 million. Gee, many Christmas. In the deluded mind of those people who are capitalists, they're just going, oh, time to sell, time to buy, time to sell. Get rid of it. Make it into a rental. Profit off it on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. Yeah. And ruin America. Ruin America. Destroy it. Yeah. And it's all going to collapse. Because people are going to turn. There's not going to be a civil war. It's not going to be anything like that. The insanity is going to end. By the year 2030, I will heal insanity. That insanity will put people in a place to where that they go kind of crazy in the process of healing the insanity. They become aware of what it is that's causing them the insanity. Their diet changes, they get healthier, they're mentally more balanced, they could do things, they have friends that are more positive, they start thinking, this sucks, I'm in a really terrible scene, I have 3 jobs, the only way I got out of this was by changing my diet. Now I'm mentally clear. Now I can't live like this. Now I'm willing to live in a freaking car. I'm willing to get in a tiny house. I'm willing, to do what it takes, because it's now in the heart. If you heal the body, your heart awakens. If you don't heal the body, the heart goes into a lethargic state. Yeah, it goes into lower conscious levels, like a dream state. Yeah, and you live in this deluded, like in your eating, you'd be habitual, you'd be thinking this and that, not worrying about whether or not it's going to cause you anything. All your bowel problems, all your gas problems, all your, your weight problems, all the things, that you have, you want to heal, but you have no idea how to do it. Well, over the next 10 years, masses of humanity are going to learn how to heal and learn how to become minimalist, because they don't have the needs. They're going to find that there's an enormous amount of things that are completely misused. Yeah, the whole influence of being abused and misused in your workplace, and being mistreated in a relationship of working part-time and not getting any benefits and not being able to go to another job because you're working too long. You're working too many hours to go look for another job. And as you keep doing that, it doesn't look good on your resume that you work for 6 months and then leave. Makes you look like you're kind of a freeloader taking advantage of just having a job. And that's a stupid state of consciousness. It's a business state of consciousness. It's not the employee state of consciousness. It's the other side. It's where the nightmare comes from. Lunar lords. People who don't give a shit. They're in it for the money. That's it. And that part is going to wake up. People are not going to be satisfying their needs. People will not take on those houses. There's all these people who are 30, 40, and 50 years old that are looking for homes who cannot buy a home ever in their life. And they're going to, within the next 3 to 5 years, these are not stupid people. These are pissed off people. And as they step into this process and they get into that home and they realize, they wouldn't give me a mortgage for a house that's half this, which I couldn't use, and I finally rent a house that I need. I couldn't get a mortgage for $3,000, and now I'm paying rent on a house for $5,000 that I can't afford. I am paying it. But yet the bank won't allow me that mortgage because there's people out there paying these really big $1 million prices for houses, and they're not that value. We're losing value into materialism and losing our relationship with humanism. Yeah. So there has to be a major wake-up, and there's going to be a major wake-up, and it's going to be a major shock value. Imagine, everybody's going, I should be vegetarian because I'm going to save the world. What if that is what's destroying the world? And you have no idea. And then one day you wake up and you realize, okay, I've got bowel cancer, I've got diabetes, my heart fibrillation is really getting to me. I cannot control my diet. None of my weight will go down even if I don't eat, And sooner or later you go to the web, you look up what people are doing out there to get healthy, and you come across this keto thing and you paleo thing, and then you finally get to carnivore and you find doctors who are saying, yeah, we have clinics and we have science and we have proof that this will save you from all those things, all your cancer, all your diabetes, all your eye problems, all your teeth problems, your gums, your growing back, your bones, your skin, all those things that are deteriorating on you right now. And you're getting cancer of the skin, you're getting cancer of the lungs, you're getting cancer of the everything. Yeah. And your diabetes is leading you to losing your limbs and leading you to losing your eyesight. Yeah. And strokes and all kinds of other things. It's all due to the nightmare. We're led to be in the outcome of the nightmare is that we are not of any value to anybody. We're not any value. And value is a soulful love thing. You value something because you love it, not because you own it. Yeah? But in our dream, what we're in is ownership relationship. People owning other people. And subjecting them to the fact that they really don't have any value because someone could take your place in a minute. Yeah. And it's really not something you can be dependent upon. Yeah. So everything, there isn't anything that isn't going to change dramatically, because it's a matter of value. That value comes back to us when that wakes up. That value changes everything in our relationship of what we're interested in. It automatically determines what we're interested in. I have no interest in solar, I have no interest in electric car, I have no interest. But between now and the year 2030, trust me, you and all those assholes out there who are trying to make money and control the society, they're all going to have wake-ups. And in that, they're going to realize, if I continue down this path, like Ford or other companies, I will be bankrupt. This company will be lost. We can't drive people down a road that will not exist in 20 years. There's laws against us. There's a whole group of people that are awake and willing to make changes in the world, knowing that these changes are inevitable and that they'll make major changes on every level. So those influences are coming in that have nothing to do with capitalism. They have to do with a new group of world servers and a process of humanity that is awake enough in order to be a collective consciousness that it doesn't look at the outside world as being the place that is not so good, but the outside world is a place that is wonderful. And they have great social systems, and they have great economies, and they have happy people, and they're living longer lives, and they're enjoying themselves. And when our heart wakes up in the United States, we start seeing without prejudice and in true feeling, what is going on in the world, rather than cultural shock. Because we have prejudice, which makes it able for all this shit to go on in America. And then we think, Netherlands, they got to be a lot worse because they're just like stupid people. They're Netherlanders or whatever you call them. Yeah? Or Finlanders, This is American English, American delusion. We don't know anything about anybody. And we project as though, they haven't got it as good as us. And those Japanese, they work 24/7. Not us, we're smart. But it's not true. We're working to death. And we're losing our soul. And children are killing themselves. And people are killing themselves in the largest number. And I'm moving this process to where you wake up, to where that has an effect upon you. The suffering and the pain and the deaths in society are there to awaken you to the fact that you're not in the world you think you're in. And you just look at it in a shock. You just go, how's that possible? How'd that happen? Why is this going on? Oh, then Trump comes along. Oh, well, it's because of Biden's, because Democrats and Democrat states, and they want to get rid of our guns, so we got to defend ourselves, get more guns, and do all this stuff. Yeah? And it's just a delusion of grandeur, as though this thing is working out in the first place. We are so penned up in anger. It's not about Black Lives Matter. It's about every living life matters. And all of us, man, woman, and child, are being treated like shit. Yeah? Just the same way American Indians are treated, black people are treated, Native Americans are treated, It's the same way. All of us are treated this way. Yeah? If you treat a big majority of people like that, it's going to bleed into the white race. And 80% of us, all of us, can't get homes, can't afford a car, can't afford to live, and don't want to live in a world like this. So they commit suicide. And they steal more than ever before. They join gangs more than ever before. They jump into the military because there's no hope in jobs for anything. So it's all about wake up. It's all about the influence of wake up. In order to wake up, you got to realize that all this is really going on. It is not a conspiracy. It's not an Illuminati thing. It's not, just the devil doing devil shit, It's the devil, but holy crap. We have bought into capitalism, and that's where the root of evil sits. It is not democracy. It's under the illusion of democracy. The impression that democracy is what we're headed toward. But we're not. If we were headed toward that, we'd be 80% socialism. It wouldn't be a socialist kind of socialist thing, but all the things that are good that you find in all the other countries. People getting paid days off and maternity leave and good wages and, hospitalization and all this good stuff. It's not socialism, but it's things that you find in socialism. Just because you find it in there, you go, oh, we don't want to do that because it's socialist. But it's not. It's humanistic. It's humanitarian. It is what goes on in all other countries except for ours, because we're capitalist. That's worse than being a socialist communist. Because in this place, in capitalism, we don't care about human lives. We don't care about the baby that comes out. We don't care about the mother that has the baby. We don't care about the family that has to take care of that baby. We don't care about whether or not every person has a situation where they get 60 years old, they can retire, and they have an allotted amount of money and a home that they can live with and live for and exist. We all need that. It's part of humanitarian reality. It's not about, anything other than a humanitarian reality. And it's found in 80% of the world. All industrialized, advanced societies are like this. They care, they share. And caring and sharing has nothing to do with communism. But because we're capitalists, we're going to use words like communism to scare people who are blatantly prejudiced. They'll go, oh, is communism part of Judaism? Is communism part of, some other delusionary cult-like process? And we have no idea what anything is. Right now, you can't even study history on racism. When I went to college, it was a subject. a subject where you'd study all races and their cultural differences and how those made all kinds of problems in people or benefits in people, all the things that come from it. It's a theory process. What is the theory behind why are we racist? What makes that happen? Yeah? And that's the principle behind the theory of racism. Yeah? And now, because people, are dumber than dumb, their process of understanding any of it, it leads them to think, well, no, now they're going to go against all black people. Yeah, it's all about, no, we don't want teaching about black people, the history of black people, or the history of communism, or the history of socialism, or the history of this country or another country. Yeah. But if you don't get that, you're not going to learn what I'm just telling you. Yeah. You're not going to learn that all of that stuff is dying out. Yeah. Putting people into prison and then shooting that person and killing people, for any reason whatsoever in a prison is not something that happens in the world. It only happens in the most evil countries. Very few. And our country is included in that. Yeah. Our last president shot off and killed as many people as he could in the last month of his office. He killed people. He specifically said, I want people killed, hung, I want them shot, I want them, drugs put in them, I want them killed. And I want that to happen while I'm on the watch. Yeah? Because it hasn't happened for 30 years. Some states it hasn't happened for 100 years. But he pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed to have large numbers of people daily be killed. Yeah? Because he felt that was necessary in the element of judgment. Unless you go to that evil level of judgment, you'll never get anybody to be afraid. You have to do that sort of thing. Yeah. That's how crazy. That is not in the rest of the world. And the same guy will steal taxes from society, and he'll go to prison for this. And when we get that to happen, this will be the wake-up that we need in order to foster the reality that we need to check everybody. We need to check every business. Everyone. Every single one. Let's leave all the people alone. Let's go to the businesses. Let's find out where they're spending their money, why that money's being done that way, and why is it we can't pay wages of at least $20 an hour. Why is it we can't do that? Why is it we can't give vacations? Why is it all the rest of the world? The reason why is because the people who run this capitalistic situation decide what those wages will be. Yeah? We don't have a government who cares. And we need to turn that around. Yeah? And if we keep Biden in for this 4 years and another 4 years, and hopefully his vice president will become president. Yeah, I'm serious. She's very good. She'd be a great president. Yeah? And we would have an enormous transfiguration of America. Be led into a whole new reality of what it's like to talk to other countries and learn from them rather than think that we're already got it. We're already together in everything. We know everything. We don't know shit. We need to learn. We need to put it into practice. Yeah, and that's what we're going to do. Yeah. All right, so let's pray. I'm going to do the invocation today. And this invocation is powerful. The other one is to help release you from the curse of what we're all in. We're all in this curse. Doesn't matter who you are on planet Earth. We all have that curse going on. Everyone, yeah? But once that curse is unveiled, and an awakening starts taking place, this invocation comes in, yeah? And we are in a place where we have clarity of mind, and our mind is stimulated by our soul, by the prana that is moving through us. We're psychically surged by good action and goodwill because we're in an ashram. And that ashram is led by Jesus the Christ. Yeah? And that's the government of the world. That's world government. Yeah? One world government. Yeah? By Jesus the Christ. Yeah? And we look out all over the world, all the rest of the world is already connected to Jesus Christ. Yeah? And they're moving very strongly toward trying to do the right thing. Yeah? All their wages and their employee situations and their hospitalizations and how they deal with people. If we look into it, we'll find that it's humanitarian. Yeah? And they're very much being impressed by this. Yeah? And as America changes this, the ray package of America changes, where it has a 2-6 right now, but right now its dominant ray is the 6th ray, with a selfish second ray soul. And when you have a selfish second ray soul, it blocks the energy from the soul to coming into that 6th ray. So the 6th ray becomes exaggerated, bigger, yeah? And instead of seeing things with understanding and with the ability to become one with other people and have empathy and walk in the shoes of another person and feel the needs of a family or the needs of another person of any kind, yeah? That's our nation. That's our nation. That's why we are the most cursed, yeah? Because we have the opportunity to carry a dream, yeah? That could be already in the rest of the world. We've freed it up. We've fought for this world. We've fought all the wars. We've done all the things we were meant to do. We saved the world. And the world came to America and lived in America. But this is the last place to heal. Not the first. It's the last. Yeah? But all the other places get to heal. Their nations were saved and money was given to them. The support system that was allowed for them to flourish and have these employee situations and have these circumstances that they have in the world. And that's really mainly because of America. Yeah? But we're not benefiting. Not yet. But we will. And it'll be a whole world that will come from this. Because this world will become the most fortunate, economically lucrative, existing planet in existence. The amount of funds, the amount of caring and sharing, the amount of building infrastructure for social means, yeah? Not for making people distant between social class, but through social means. In other words, we will have wonderful rivers and we will all use it. We'll have wonderful parks and we will all use it, yeah? We will have infrastructure that will be vehicles that will fly and do all the things that they're doing. Yeah? And we'll all use it. You know, we'll step into that 2030 and all these things will come from all these other countries and we will share. Yeah? And America will learn that it is really backwards when it comes to social humanitarian systems. Really backwards. And that's only because of the government. The 80% of what goes wrong is inside the capitalist reality, the capitalism reality, and that's governed by the government. Your president sits on top, the money sits under the president, the clergy sits under that, the military sit under that, the police force sit under that, the people who are working within the businesses and the managers sit under that, and all the people who work for those businesses and managers are crushed at the bottom of that. Yeah? And there is no way to make this flow. There's no way. So it has to explode. It has to completely be gone. Yeah? And we have to become democracy. what is true democracy. And true democracy is every single thing that you would find in socialism or any other ism that allows for humanitarianism. True humanitarian reality, from structures of infrastructure to the relationship of ecology to the better understanding of health and higher wisdom and vibrational medicine and the ability to go to Mars or go to space and do all the things that we want to do. But they'll be done in higher mind with extreme financial clarity, without it taking from society, making this the system that we have today, which is based on capitalism, totally based on capitalism. So the ashram is what changes everything. It's an awakened reality of something that doesn't exist inside the United States as a 2-6. But a 2-6 is the disciples of the ashram. It's the embodiment of the disciples of the ashram. 2-6 is a perfect saint. To have a ray package of 2-6 is the package of a saint. So imagine this is the house of saints. And people just are drawn to here under God's grace. And they have covered wagons and they go through what they go through, and it is not easy. And they bring this world up, but at the same time, the rest of the world is becoming more humanitarian because of the hardship people are going through here. And that hardship will take us to a place to where we realize, oh my God, everybody's suffering and we could do something about it very quickly. All we got to do is pay our taxes. Everybody. So let's find out what Trump is doing with his taxes. Let's find out what everybody is doing with their taxes. And let's fix it. And just like Biden did, he changed the tax situation for the people who are wealthy to where they're going to be paying a very large, substantial amount this next year. And that's going to go in to this infrastructure reality. That's how we're going to pay for it. By people finally putting money out. And then we're going to be putting money into the process of people getting higher wages. But that's going to take 5 years. So the only way that this is going to be done is by people awakening to the reality that this planet, this part of the planet, the United States, is a united collective consciousness, a 2-6. And from that, we close the door on the astral plane by collecting as many lunar lords as you can possibly collect on one continent and then shut them down in a very short period of time. By the time we get to 2030, most Trump buildings will be gone. A lot of people will be doing different things in their life. Just like you've seen the movie Truman. Everybody watched that show because it was, here you got this enslaved little boy, this baby, all through its life. And you're like, because it's wrong. But because it's wrong, your sixth ray is really drawn to it because it's wrong, And that drives you to watch it every day. But what happened in the end? Everybody went back to their life. The dream was over with. Sometimes a dream, a bad dream, bad belief system, capitalism, a bad thing, it is a concept that has to end. Democracy is the answer to it, but the end of capitalism is the process. So the invocation that I'm putting out here is the end of capitalism. It puts the power in the people. And it creates a process to where everything goes back to the Constitution and the preamble with God. So the whole entire, what I'm going to invoke here, is an invocation of healing the Constitution of the United States, the preamble of the United States, and all the people who've incarnated in the United States over the last 300 years. And that energy of recapitulation can come into humanity pretty quickly and foster itself as an ashram of the second ray and not the sixth ray. Right now, it is the sixth ray. It's a cult on every level. From movies, theaters, and all our rock stars and everything. It's just all sixth ray. we're just going crazy over LGBT and men dressing as girls and, this whole, it's all sixth ray. Yeah. And the only way you can possibly think that this is okay is if it is sixth ray. Yeah. So imagine that sixth ray goes pop. Yeah. And now you have a second ray. And you realize, like, oh, I spent my whole time drinking, doing drugs, eating candy. No wonder I'm so big, And then your naturalness, your intuitiveness, your instincts move you into the collective consciousness of other people who've already found their way out. Yeah? And you start going, oh, I can do that. I'm going to do that. And it becomes this collective body, a bigger new group of world server. Yeah? There is a new group of world server already manifesting, but a larger portion, hundreds of millions of people, are in a wake-up process of being part of the new group of world servers. And they're not aware of it. And they're in America. And they're there for a reason, for this wake-up. Yeah? So the invocation of this ashram is the first one is to clear you of your curse and your agreement and your commitment to Satan. Yeah? And now that we've done that, now I'm going to introduce you to your ashram, to your life without Satan, and what it's like to be with God. And we're all along, this has been in your blood. All along, the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years that it's been there. It's been in your blood, been in the waiting since Adam and Eve. Yeah? In the process. Yeah? And these are the last few years in which this thing goes pop. Yeah? And then we all get to have a better revelation of what's going on in the world. Yeah? The delusions and everything that come from that sixth ray pop. And instead of taking the heart down, which is what it does every single day, everybody looks at TV, everybody looks at things, and they all gossip. And they think, is the world being destroyed? Are we going to go to Armageddon? Are we going to have a nuclear war? Is Trump coming back? Every negative possible thing you can think of comes out of that sixth ray. Yeah. So we're in a process of having that completely go pop. Yeah. And once that happens, the influence of where humanity's really at, which is the recapitulation of all the things that we see in the world. We see people who are getting paid, people who got right things, people who are getting the right scenario. The reason why it's not around us is because we have that downward spiral coming from our heart that has already surfaced in the world. So that leads us to more and more frustration. So the ashram is the process that fixes that pop, actually makes it pop. Yeah. So we go from the prayer into the invocation. And when we go into the invocation, it's masses, possibly masses of people do it, yeah. Then it's possible masses of people to have an evocation. Invocation, evocation. That evocation is the process of the American spirit, the collective body of the American spirit, yeah. And the American spirit comes from our past, the hardships that we went through, the covered wagons, the Civil War, the making things right, throughout the world, and ending slavery throughout the world and making it better in human rights all throughout the world. And this is the last place it actually comes to, even though we're the ones that initiated it and did it. Yeah, weird as it is, that is how it is. But it's the ashram that is there that's doing it, past, present, and future. And now we get to recapitulate the reality of sainthood that comes with being in service in America, manifesting this process. Yeah, the new group of world servers into the ashram of humanity, and then people who incarnate become the incarnations of saints from the year 230 on. Masses, millions and millions and millions of people, when they reincarnate, to come back as saints. And the planet is pure, our vehicles are clear, our wages are high, with all the continents and everywhere that we live, we love each other, we care for each other, we share for each other, and we have great economy all throughout the world, beyond anybody's wildest imagination. That's the real dream. Yeah, not just America having that, but the whole world gets it. Yeah? All right, so let's do this. Okay, repeat after me. I invoke the power, the love, and the wisdom of my ashram, soul, and monad. To guide me into the right activity in the plan. To clarify and stimulate my mind. To transform and transmute my feelings and emotions. To energize and vitalize and heal my physical and etheric body. So there is a normal flow of energy in my physical and etheric body. Through this day and every day, I ask this in the name of the Christ to serve the One. All in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, let's close your eyes. Expressed as the soul. I invoke the sense of hearing in the seventh ray, hearing the word of God, the word of power. Sense of touch and the first ray as the finger of God. I invoke the sense of sight as the third ray, as the eye of God. Sense of taste as the sixth ray, as the desire of all the nations. I invoke the sense of smell as the fourth ray, the beauty of revelation. I invoke the sense of intellect as the fifth ray, as the knowledge of God. I invoke the sense of intuition as the second ray, the understanding of God. Personality as the first ray of ideas, the mental body, the purpose, your life. The second ray of ideals, the astral body and your quality. The third ray of idols, your physical body and your form. The fourth ray of the fourth kingdom of humanity in balance. The fifth ray, the third kingdom, the animals. The sixth ray, the second kingdom, vegetables. The seventh ray, the first kingdom, minerals. I call upon the relationships of all the kingdoms to penetrate the personality of humanity and express its collective soul. The seventh ray and the fourth ray as the mineral kingdom. The second ray, the fourth ray, and the sixth ray as the vegetable kingdom. The third ray and the sixth ray as the animal kingdom. The fourth ray and the fifth ray as the human kingdom. The fifth ray and the second ray as the egoic soul. The sixth ray and the third ray as planetary lives. The first ray and the seventh ray as solar lives. personality ray of each nation, and to express its true expression, to make manifest peace on earth as one living body of God. I call upon India to bring forth its fourth ray of personality and to integrate its first ray of soul to manifest the hidden light. I invoke China to bring forth its third ray personality to integrate its egoic soul into its first ray to manifest as the indication of the way. I invoke Germany to bring forth its first ray of personality to integrate its egoic soul of fourth ray to preserve the truth. I invoke France and its third ray personality to integrate its fifth ray of egoic soul to release the light. I invoke Great Britain and its first ray personality and its second ray egoic soul to bring forth its service. I invoke Italy and its fourth ray personality to integrate its sixth ray soul to carve the two paths. I invoke the United States and its sixth ray personality to integrate its second ray soul to light the way. I invoke Russia and its sixth ray personality to integrate its seventh ray soul to link the two ways. I invoke Australia and its fifth ray personality to integrate its fourth ray soul and serve the lighted way. I invoke Spain and its seventh ray personality to integrate its sixth ray soul to disperse the clouds. I invoke Brazil and its second ray personality to integrate its fourth ray soul to hide the seed. I invoke the entity of this planet, the planetary logos, to incarnate the light and the beingness of this planet. I invoke the expression of the second ray force into both the personality and the egoic rays of the nation and the personality of the egoic ray of humanity to fuse itself and its light into its healing process. I invoke the esoteric law of solar energy to make manifest the cosmic force of light, love, and peace. Okay, just relax. Okay, open your eyes, enjoy. So if you listen to the puja, there was the puja of the alignment of the seven rays. I invoke the alignment of the seven rays. And that invokes the new group of world servers, it invokes the planetary logos, it invokes seven rays in every nation, and what their soul ray is and what their personality ray is. These are my pujas. Yeah. So everything that I'm doing, the pujas, is a synthesis of an invocation, evocation to pull off what I say I'm doing. Yeah. Because this is all a dream. It's a piece of bullshit. It's all just a big lie, a real big lie. You carry the lie, you live the lie, you lived out the lie, you're still living in the lie, and you support the lie, but you don't know why. It just does. It just is. Yeah? But I'm popping that sucker. Yeah? And I'm letting it go ahead and heal. Yeah? And it takes invocation, evocation to do that. Yeah? It's a science. It's a science that the planetary logos does. Yeah, and if you listen to my pujas, you'll go, holy shit, you know, that everything he just talked about all this time is in this one puja that I just did. Yeah, and if you align to that, come to understand that a little bit better, you'll find that 10,000 years from now, these same pujas you will be hearing, and it will be the thing that will allow you to see the moments of revelation in the moments that you see them. Because the invocation has evoked it. Yeah? And you'll see the manifestation of my evocation. Now, right now, it's just in the middle of shit. Yeah? It's all shit. Needs to be recycled. Yeah? It's all bad mind, lower mind, frustration, gossip, people, personality, things, whatever. It's just shit. Yeah? And it's all in chaos. It's all without any balance or any harmony whatsoever. But it's there in potentiality. Yeah. So all of that is being, through invocation, evocation, is being transmuted into these pujas. All the shit, all the war, all the hostility, all the anger, all the things that are going on, no matter where you're at, what country or anything, whether it be the Dalai Lama, Tibet, China, Russia, North Korea, all those things I have made a pujan for. Yeah? And all my pujas play 24/7. They're invoking in Shambhala, manifesting the invocation, evocation on an elemental level to heal the earth and create ascension. Yeah? Bringing people into another state of consciousness. But first, I have to destroy the first state of consciousness. They can't live together at the same time. It doesn't happen. Yeah. So it's not about a world war or anything like that. It's about the end of ignorance. The end of ignorance. You think you're smart. You think you got intellect. You think you're doing the right thing. Trust me, when I'm done, you're going to realize you've been totally ignorant all along. Yeah. Every single thing that I've said turns out to be true, and you've missed that boat for a long, long time, but every day I give you a new opportunity to get back on that boat and get back in the right place and help me heal this thing. Yeah? Because it requires the collective body of saints for the earth to change. Yeah? It's the collective body of demons and polarized people that are in a suffering state of tyranny, and prejudice and bias and hostility and aggression. that creates the imperil that we're all in, that we're all living in. And we can't have bodies, can't have an emotional body, we don't know anything about chakras. All these things are in another world, another dimension. Yeah? And that's the only real dimension that exists. It's where God lives, it's where Buddhas lives, it's where the Devas are at, it's where everything does exist, and it will always exist. But you won't. Everything is temporary. Yeah? It's in a state of invocation. It's been invoked by God, and it has a plan of its manifestation, its outcome. And to get to that, it has to take what is and turn it into what will be. Yeah? And there's going to be a collapse in what we think should be, and it will just become better. So much better. Benefits and checks and, housing programs and the building of houses and the tearing down of shit and, all this renewal and all this infrastructure. You're not going to pay a dime for it. You're not going to be treated like you didn't deserve it in the first place. You better get your ass together. You better join this and get rid of that. None of that will come your way. You're going to be treated as though you have a right to live, you have a soul, and you are the majority of life on earth. Yeah? All the animals are nothing compared to you. Yeah? All the fish are nothing compared to you. All the birds are nothing compared to you. You are it. Yeah? You are it. You're the energy of the earth. And when that is turned into its right nature, it becomes a source of aspiration. It becomes a source of prana, to where all the other kingdoms are taken care of. Like they have a loving mother and father, and they're inside of a family. And we don't dishonor anybody or anything. Yeah? That's where we're going to. Yeah? And nobody's asking anybody how to get there or what to do. It's in your nature, and it's all going to be given to you. Yeah? Just like as though we just turned into major socialism. And all of a sudden our roads get better, and all of a sudden our hospitals are free, and all of a sudden we all just figure out that we can't afford to pay people a better wage, and we can get rid of really bad industrial processes just simply by not buying it anymore. Just simply by not buying it anymore. Consciousness does that. Consciousness wakes up, gets rid of cigarettes, gets rid of alcohol, gets rid of making sugar, gets rid of Cocoa Puffs. They get rid of this shit. It all has to go. It has to go. It has to be a historical memory, something in a museum, and not in the world ever again. And it's not laws of banning sugar. It's not any of that. It's consciousness. It's a wake up. It's no more aspiring toward your lower nature and your lower desires and the delusions of what other people are comically, by a joke, turning you into this frazzled, unhealthy caricature of yourself. In the worst possible caricature, as though you're a puppet from hell. And all your outcome is the worst possible outcome you can think of. Oh my God, I didn't think I was going to have a heart attack. Oh my God, I didn't think I was going to get cancer. We got a 99% chance of getting any of that. That's a bad dream. It's a bad outcome. You should die in your sleep. You should die of old age. You should die peacefully. Yeah? You should die with understanding, without regret whatsoever about your life. Yeah? It's a long ways till we get to that. We got to pop this bubble so we can release the suffering and the pain and all the doubt and the suspicion and the gossip. Every second of gossip leads to the whole rest of that day to be absorbed in impurity. It's not worth it. It's like taking a pill of illness. All you got to do is just say something, do something, and talk with people in any gossip state. And you're going to get sick, and you're going to make everything around you sick. You're going to hurt yourself. You're going to fall down. Things are not going to happen right. Yeah, because we do not live in that world. We are saints. We live in an ashram. We are blessed by God. This is overwhelming. Such a good, wonderful thing. Yeah. So, enjoy and appreciate. Thank you.